Let's just go ahead and do this right now. If you're one of the people that doesn't care for when we hate watch this show, just go ahead and skip. Just go ahead and skip now because,
Yeah,
oh,
you should have just also skipped part 3 because that was possibly the worst reunion episode I've ever seen on Bravo. It
it
was
might have been the worst episode of TV I've ever seen, honestly.
like what is it, mesothelioma, where like you might be entitled to compensation.
Mesothelioma.
We should be compensated for having to watch that.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Mr. Goots. We're being serious right now because this is a serious episode, so we need to be super serious when we talk about it. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, there's nothing to really cover in this whole thing. What a weird approach taken by everybody on that stage. What a 180 of what should have happened. I don't know if Gretchen has dirt on people. I don't know. I have a lot of theories as to what I watched and why I watched that. But holy shit, that was insane.
I can crack your theory as to why you watched it, because it's your job. And that's why we're here to do this dumb shit that I don't want to do. It's weird because a lot of times, yes, you're going to hear us complaining about bad shows that we have to cover because you guys keep listening to the episodes. So we have to keep doing it. This is one of those. I genuinely didn't care. I was like, you know what? We could just not put out an episode and I would be completely content of not even having to watch this or deal with this. It came out on Thursday. I watched it today.
Same.
And I was putting it off so much. And I knew what was going on. I saw all the chatter. I knew exactly what to expect. Didn't want to deal with it. Had to deal with it anyway. And I don't really have anything to say, honestly. I think I'm just going to end up reiterating a lot of the shit that we've been talking about for the last like 4 weeks. But it's just going to have like an exclamation point at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much copy paste of why we had an issue with the season as a whole. But this was bizarre because it's finally getting into the Gretchen Rossi likes on Instagram and the accounts that she follows. And somehow it turns into a Tamra attack. And
Yep.
Ryan, our resident Tamra stan, Ryan, messaged us and said that was an ambush, that was bullshit or something like that. And for the first time ever, I agreed with him. I was like, that was the weirdest, most produced, set up reunion episode ever to take us off the scent of. I mean, we'll get into it more. I don't want to, because I do want to talk about that part. I was befuddled, sir. I was befuddled and bewildered.
It didn't. I don't know if it really even smelled like a setup. It didn't seem like. I don't know. It had one of those feelings where I don't think you had Emily, Heather to some extent, Gina, Jen, Shannon, all sitting down and just saying, when Gretchen starts talking about this stuff, we're just going to go ahead and back her and we're going to flip it on to Tamra. Like, I don't think that it had the makings of a setup. It didn't have the makings of a producing setup. It was just weird. Like, they all just started falling in line and going completely off the rails instead of holding her accountable. And like, I don't know. Of course, she's going to come somewhat prepared. We've seen people come less prepared for shit like that. She came somewhat prepared with a quote unquote apology, just basically saying that's not the person that I am. None of it made any sense. And this is one of those things where, yeah, there is a bit of a generation gap that happens on these shows where you've got older people that don't quite understand how social media works. And if someone gives an explanation, they're like, wow, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Just like how we saw it in the Sprinter van, where they were trying to rationalize how they didn't see her likes, as if she didn't just go on her phone as soon as she got to the Sprinter van.
So
and just,
embarrassing.
like, remove all the likes, but didn't unfollow any of the pages. That was the one smoking gun. And they were like, well, yeah, she follows them, but like, you know, there's a lot of people out there. Like, what do you mean? Why is that an excuse? Why
because
is that
it's like a one-off like is one thing, but if you follow the account, you're invested in this content. Like that to me is much more damning than a like. But let's quote unquote jump in. There's nothing to really jump into.
What else is there? Like
the first 10 minutes, 10 minutes in, and nothing had happened. Nothing had happened. We talked about Heather's dad. We talked about Jen and her voodoo doll. This is
Mhm.
episode 3 of a reunion. And this is what we're
Yeah.
discussing for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was completely thrown off when we spent that much time talking. And like I get it again. It was a nice moment for Heather. I don't care about the Emily part of it, but it was a nice moment for Heather to be in Amsterdam and visit, the parents' house and be able to spread her dad's ashes. There's a lot of spreading of ashes going on, which I actually tend to like a little bit.
No, that was
But
fine, but we
why
watched it.
why we're doing this, and I know it's just to kind of like stave off until the end when we finally talk to Gretchen about all the homophobic things that she liked on Instagram. I just don't really see the point in doing anything like that at this juncture. Nothing else has worked. Nobody cares about the season. We've all just kind of set eyes to the reunion, and you can say that for the first 2 episodes of this reunion. It didn't deliver. And we get to the one thing that seems like a sure thing. Let's grill the homophobe. And instead, we let her get away without really that much effort. Like she had her bed made and ready to go before she even finished her apology. They were already turning their eyes to Tamra. So I don't know. This was such a useless episode for me.
It really was. It just, all I can say is I'm disappointed in the cast. I'm disappointed in Andy. I'm disappointed in the network. I am 95% sure that Alex Baskin has something to do with this. I'm pretty certain that he's the voice on, it's either him or Slade. I'm convinced that it was Alex Baskin trying to throw a Hail
I do
Mary in
too.
there.
Yeah,
I think
I actually switched from Slade or from Alex to Slade, and that's so funny you say that too. When they go through all of it, which we can go through momentarily, honestly, like you said, there's not a lot to talk about. So when they're going through all of the breakdown of what happened and what was said and all the information that was spilled, there are some things that lead me down the path to say, you know what, maybe Slade actually didn't know about that, like the things that happened with Tamra and Gina. And I'm like, but Alex did. But somebody on production knew. So I agree with you. I think it could have just easily been a last second Hail Mary. Let's just button this one up.
I think Alex loves Gretchen. I think he's been pining for her to be back. I think she's back, and he saw that she was not landing well. And then you have this, which is grounds for removal, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think he panicked. I think the season went a different way. I will say this about Tamra. Yeah, she talks to bloggers. Yeah, she does a lot of things that are not great. She has done this for 15 years. She wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
put herself in that position. I don't believe that to be true. And that is a very hard thing for me to say. But this doesn't have Tamra written all over it. This has
Now,
Alex Baskin written all over it. This has overproduction and oh shit, horrible season. Let's save it in the last episode with the most produced fake bullshit because you have Gina, Jen, and Shannon who can't act their way out of a fucking High School Musical. And they're like, oh my God, oh my, what? That when they replayed that scene, I was like, wow, this is fake as shit. This is faker than the
yeah.
first time that I saw it. This is not a surprise to
The
any
only
of you.
person who's acting I actually fell for was Shannon, because I genuinely do think that Shannon thinks it's Tamra. Like,
Probably.
I
Yes.
do think that she thinks something fishy's going on here, and all roads point to Tamra in her mind. She was the one who was being very authentic. The other ones I don't fucking believe. Like, this is just in there. Like, that's where I lose interest, is you showing me how fucking stupid you are.
Yeah.
Once I see that, and it's not the fun kind of stupid, it's the type of stupid that ruins a whole show because it's just right there in front of your face and you fail to see it. And it's so obvious. They didn't even bother asking any questions. Andy had
No.
to ask the questions and say, well, was there anything that kind of substantiated the proof? Was there any
No.
more evidence? Did
They
they
knew the
send over any
timeline.
receipts? There was a timeline. Only people on this show knew, and their significant others. The fact that no one else, one, chimed in, anyone who wasn't really part of it, who wasn't for that weird sit down that we got at the end of the year, anyone who wasn't part of that could have chimed in and said, well, let's just do this like normal people do this and try to trace it a little bit. Who else knows what happened this season? Well, the women that are on the cast, Katie wasn't there. She's exonerated. Great. The significant others, the husbands, definitely know. Family members, definitely know. People that you might be talking to on the side, definitely know. The only person,
Production knows.
if you're just going to excuse all significant others, then yeah, I guess you can look at Tamra and say, well, you've done this before and you have a podcast and you say iHeartRadio reaches out to you. Fine. Okay. But to just jump there and immediately disqualify any other possible connection is absurd to me. And
It
they
was
were
outrageous.
so hell-bent on it. And it wasn't just we're just sharpening our pitchforks to go after Tamra. It's they're going to sit there and believe every word of it and just say, well, this just points to Tamra. It points to any fucking one of you, you idiots.
No, it's astounding to see them just rationalize things away. It's convenient. It gives them some kind of answer. So they're like, that must be it. And it's Tamra. So that's an easy win. But the route in which we took to get there was insane because we get into Gretchen liking homophobic, transphobic, awful posts. And her first offense is, I think we've all been guilty of scrolling. And no, not one time in my life have I liked a homophobic post. Not once, ever. Never.
I'll take that even further. Not once have I scrolled Instagram and liked something that I didn't mean to like. It doesn't
That
happen.
too.
It
Like
simply doesn't happen
just
anymore.
premise. And for her to stand on this soapbox of they're attacking me, it felt like a personal attack. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You liked a bunch of hate speech. You got caught and now you're panicking. But instead of owning up to anything, taking any semblance of accountability other than my bad if I accidentally pressed that, you're going to go the route of this is an attack, to go as far as I got a cyber analyst to look at this. Fuck you. That's not real. And I don't believe it for 2 fucking seconds. And the fact that even after all of this shit has gone down, all the time that you've had to clean up your fucking mess, you fucking homophobe, you forgot to unlike the Dylan Mulvaney post. So there's still one more there that shows that you're full of hate. And then you're going to try to tell us, well, I just don't know how it happened. And it felt like a personal attack in the van. And I was really upset. And then Shannon jumps in and goes, this is life-changing shit. It is. It absolutely is. And it's well deserved to take down a fucking bigot piece of shit that should not be glorified on our TV. That should definitely not have Andy Cohen, of all people, defending this with no question, no due diligence, no digging further into it to go, well, you know, Bravo is a huge ally to this community. So could you please clear this up without any hint of it possibly being true? Because if not, we're going to alienate a massive part of our fan base, many of our employees. But no, Andy didn't do his fucking job. Alex was probably in his fucking ear, like, move it along, move it along, move it along. And everybody on that stage is so gullible and dumb that they jumped at the first chance to jump back on the Tamra train and point the finger at her. You're the one that brought this up. You brought this to us. This shit's been out there for 3 fucking years. We've all seen it. This is nothing new. This is the easiest cut and dry. We caught a fucking bigot. Let's bury her. No, let her off the hook. Throw Tamra under the bus for talking to a fucking blogger. Meanwhile, all the ladies on this stage have so much patience for Gretchen. They have so much time. And even Heather goes, I've known you for a long time, so it's pretty surprising. You clearly didn't know her that well, Heather, and you, of all people, should be the most scrutinizing about what's going on right now. But no, the whole cast jumps at this chance. Now, Tamra is the one that is at fault. Meanwhile, Katie, who talked to a blogger, got blacklisted from the show, lost out on her paycheck for talking to a blogger. Okay? We have a housewife, a public figure on one of your biggest franchises, actively liking horrific posts in a time where everything is volatile enough. And instead of reprimanding her, setting an example, showing your audience that you give a shit, you decided to go the other way and flip all of us off and say, fuck you guys. We think you're stupid. You're too stupid to see through the bullshit on this screen. That's what I watched.
To be honest, hindsight is obviously 2020. There's no way, and I obviously don't believe one page of that research fucking third party. She kept saying third party. She must have just learned that phrase today. I don't care what that report said. And we've had DMs since we posted a couple of things on our story today from a couple of people who have seen the reports, and I'm not going to name any names because we don't drop sources here, but they say that it's bullshit, and if anything, it actually points to the fact that Tamra's probably innocent. All she was trying to prove was she went the route of they were doctored. She went the route of
AI generated before AI was a thing, but okay.
Yeah, 2023 before AI really took off. ChatGPT wasn't even around, so no, and that's how you write your apologies now, so also no. but she goes the route of Tamra backed this Twitter account that started the thread, and then she pushed it on her own personal page. So it all ties back to Tamra. No, Tamra fucking hates you and sees you for who you are. I think both things are a little bit separate, but she probably also hates you for who you are as well. And she decided to push it. You weren't even on the show. There was no possibility of you potentially coming back in the next season. You had to come back the season after that. So there was no reports or rumors that you were coming back. Why would Tamra have to do this aside from just hating you? Which, again, she's exonerated in my brain because why not hate you? You suck. So she goes that route and has no follow-up questions. Andy's sitting up there reading a report, and I know how Bravo evidence for reunions go. You get a bedazzled folder, you get all these little briefcases and little trinkets and stuff, and you put them up there. Usually they mean nothing. Usually people laugh them off. But for whatever reason, this dumbass cast is like, oh, wow, yeah, read through that. It points back to Tamra. Okay, cool. No, it doesn't fucking point back to Tamra. And Tamra's frustration was palpable, and I felt it. This is one of the only times, and it may be the only time in my life,
I believe
I actually felt for Tamra. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. This is what they're doing? And I know Tamra thinks about every possibility in the future. That's why she's a good housewife, because she always plots and then understands what's going to happen. She never saw this one coming. There is just no way in a million years that we're going to sit here with Gretchen and say, hey, can you explain these posts? And it's going to turn back to Tamra being the villain here. That makes zero sense to anyone around. She was perplexed. I'm perplexed. I'm frustrated. This is pissing me off. Bravo should have just looked at that and said, yeah, no, these aren't doctored. These are real. We actually saw it. I'm sure people in the building at NBC and Bravo have seen it before. They look at it and say, Gretchen can't join us for the reunion today. She was asked to step down. That's how you handle it. If you're going to do that on this network and you see something like that, you say, no. You're going to go ahead and step down. That goes for any sort of hate speech, any sort of things like this. You just excuse them. You just send them away. Don't give her a chance to talk, because this is what's going to happen when you're in the room with a bunch of low IQ idiots.
There's no other way to put it. You allowed her a platform to exonerate herself in her own mind. At the very least, suspension with pay, pending an investigation. I don't know. Do your job. Protect your viewership. It's such a weird move.
I said this before, and I don't, look, again, we're reiterating a lot of stuff. I've said this before. I said it a couple episodes ago. They have to now, if this is the route you're going to go and we're going to just focus on bloggers, they have to enact the suspension without pay. You have to start treating this. If you're going to do episodic contracts, you have to start suspending them without pay. Oh, you were talking to a blogger? Cool. Sit out the next couple of trips. You're going to dock your pay, and we're going to put out a report that says Heather Dubrow was suspended because she was talking to a blogger or she hired paparazzi. Tamra Judge suspended for talking to a blogger. Keep it fucking in-house. That's why these shows are good. When the idiot bloggers get involved that just want their 5 minutes of fame, or if it's Slade on the other end with a voice changer, this is going to affect the product. Your product is going to suck. And I know that you just rely on the fact that you've got 75-year-old people out there that are just still using TiVo to watch OC and Beverly Hills every week. Your products fucking suck. Look online, go on Twitter, go on Instagram. We're all complaining. This show stinks. That show stinks. Change it up. This is a very clear cut and dry issue with OC specifically that you can nip in the bud right away. And you can use Katie as a precedent. Katie got quote unquote suspended because none of the women wanted to film with her. But you can say she got suspended for talking to bloggers and she lost pay. These women are not as rich as they used to be. They're going to bitch about the fact that they are not getting paid for their show. And then they're going to stop doing it. And we're going to get a good product again. I don't understand how it's so tough to figure this out.
They need to watch more sports and see athletes getting suspended without pay and missing out on $100,000 paychecks because they missed a game. It was frustrating, top to bottom, watching Gina curl up and apologize to Gretchen. I'm so sorry for how I brought it up. Why would you apologize for bringing that up? What on earth side are you trying to be on? She said it in the same breath.
She looked at it and said, this was troubling and I brought it to you. I'm so sorry for bringing it up. What do you mean? It was troubling then. It's still troubling. So why are you sorry now?
Forever troubling. And her defense.
They're such cowards, man.
Exactly. That's what we got from this is none of them have a backbone. None of them have a spine. They want to stand up.
Or they share the same interests that Gretchen does. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
you're
like if
not
you
going to
want to
call
get
out
to that
bigotry,
point,
yeah, you're not going to call out this shit, then you probably think the same thing, or you think it's not that bad. Heather going down now. Look, I'm not going to fault Heather too much because at least she
she
had a calm,
questioned.
cool, collected thing going on for a bit. She asked a lot of questions. She was in a much better headspace than she was in Amsterdam, so she was able to think on it. But she still left so many doors open, starting it off by saying, I've known you for 14 years and I haven't seen this type of behavior. Again, I think Heather's a bit of a coward because Tamra even pointed out, and I know that that was probably a plot by Tamra to try to get Heather to talk about it, but I believe it. When Heather says, oh, that's not what I was talking about, in reference to Tamra bringing it up a
Bullshit.
couple of weeks before, it's bullshit. You know exactly what Tamra's talking about. You just don't want to talk about it on camera because that's not how you want to do things. Okay, fine. But this is slapping you in the face, and you have a chance to stand up against someone who you're condemning on every day, on the daily basis. You have a chance to face that person and say, fuck you, that's wrong. And instead, you give her every possibility of escape. It's crazy.
And you can see Gretchen start to gain confidence about 5 to 10 minutes into her spiel. Like you can tell she gets emboldened because she realizes, oh shit, it's actually working. Hell yeah. Guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to cry and play victim. That's what drives me nuts with these kinds of people and these fake ass Bible thumping bigots is they want to talk all this shit. They want to like all these posts. The chickens come home to roost and they fucking cower. They are spineless, feckless losers that do not actually stand for anything. And they just jump on board with these loud, hateful things because it makes them feel powerful. That's what Gretchen's doing. And you challenge them and they curl up into a little ball and they fucking sob. She's not crying because she thinks she did something wrong. She's crying because she got caught. And now she's off the hook because none of you on that stage could step up and say, you know what? You did like those. Your defense is insane. That makes no sense. Even my 87-year-old grandmother understands how Instagram works to that extent to know what the fuck's going on. So this defense is insanity. And again, and this show does it more than any other show on Bravo, you're challenging the intelligence of the audience.
Yeah.
You're pretty much saying the people watching are stupid, so we can push this one through. No, it's
you know what this actually does, it does point back to Alex Baskin. It points back to production. The whole reason why Gretchen was put on was to go after Tamra. She failed miserably. She failed spectacularly.
So
she
who took it on?
Being the one who was labeled the villain, and it flipped on her. And they didn't see that coming. They brought her on to go after Tamra. So they took matters into their own hands and they fabricated this whole bullshit because that's what they thought that the viewers wanted to watch. Everything that the viewers want to watch is very fluid. If you give us a shit season, we want a good season. If you give us a shit cut or a shit edit of one of our favorite housewives, we want more of them, not less of them. They try to change things and fine tune things. They missed the mark the entire season. They still thought that we wanted a Tamra takedown. Meanwhile, we've got Gretchen over here liking homophobic posts, and we're like, go get her. Go sharpen your pitchforks and get after the creature and send her back to hell. And instead, you go, oh, yeah, this might be a good opportunity for us to give the viewers what they really wanted, and that's to take down Tamra. We don't care about Tamra. We're actually excited about next year because you guys knew that you were bringing Vicky back, and I want to see Vicky and Tamra. I don't give a fuck if Gretchen's on the show. I want her off the show, but I'm not looking forward to seeing her on TV again. Go after her, put her in her grave, and then send her packing. That's what we wanted. And instead, you guys are like, well, you know, this is our time to really get Tamra. It proves nothing. It's unsubstantiated bullshit that you guys are trying to shove in our face and have the cast members be like, oh, well, that makes total sense to me. If that makes sense to you, that you think that Tamra is pushing this shit on Twitter and she's connected to some tweet that originated a couple of years ago to take down Gretchen that she's now using now, you guys had to use so much brain power to create that, but you can't just see what's right in front of your face with what she's liking on Instagram. That makes no sense to me.
Well, you saw them tripping over themselves to figure it out. Emily's like, well, no, those are recent. No, Emily, we all saw these 3 years ago on Twitter, on Reddit,
we
on
just
Instagram.
Didn't give a shit because she's not on TV.
Correct.
She's an ex-castmate. It's like, fuck off. Who cares?
Right. Get this bigot off of my For You page. Don't care to see it. Now she is a cast member. So yeah, it's getting brought up because again, regardless, and I think that's probably one of my bigger issues as well, is like, this needs to be discussed. This has been the topic of conversation surrounding Gretchen and OC as a whole, by the way, for a while. Those rumblings, Heather, that you heard, the rumblings that should be further proof, by the way, for you to press this and question her more. If there's rumblings before, you have actual evidence. You've seen the likes. Tamra printed them out. And you still can't go after her. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. That seems pretty cowardice. And I don't even know what my main point was, because I was going to say something, but like, I get so flustered at just this entire setup.
Examples. There's so many different examples of the dumb bullshit that these castmates have done, even just during this segment, that I get sidetracked too. I try to go down
the Emily part. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. She's the biggest fucking proponent of this.
I know.
She's the worst. She does this every reunion. I can't believe that she's made it this far. She is not an interesting life. When she's talking, oh my God, dude, I almost fucking pulled my hair out. When she was sitting there talking about how hard it is to share your life.
Talk about Luke, dude.
Oh my God, dude. You've got to be fucking kidding me, Emily.
That's all you could say. That's all you could talk about all season.
You talked about it all season. You made it a point to talk about it and make it your whole storyline. No one asked for it. You did it before his diagnosis. You put him in a bad spot. Now he has to see this 10 years later. All the things that we've been saying all season. We tried to forget about it. You tried to move on. We didn't want to talk about it anymore. And now you're saying it's so hard to talk about Luke on TV. Then don't do it. We didn't ask for it. You don't have to do it. He didn't ask for it. Don't do it.
That's the biggest one. He didn't ask for it.
But it's so hard. It's my job to talk about these things. It's not really, honestly. It's your job to do your job, and you're not doing it.
And in the same breath, talking about how hard it is to talk about your kid, you want to give a half-assed, I'm not even going to call it an apology to Katie for last year. I wish I'd phrased the question differently. How would you phrase it differently to make it soften the blow of, oh, you remember when you lost custody of your kids? In what way are we going to change that around to make this land a bit softer, Emily? Because in my mind, you know, you don't bring it up because it's none of your fucking business. And then if you do bring it up, you apologize profusely for bringing it up because it's so inappropriate. But instead, I wish I'd phrased it differently. I wish I said it a little different.
Let's break that one down real quick. You used it as defense because Katie's daughter said that your kids told Katie's daughter that you were mad because Heather's mean to you.
Yes.
So you brought up Katie losing custody of her kids, and now you have a chance to apologize because we go through our regrets, which is always a funny part of these reunions. Sometimes it's like, hey, what's your high and low, rose and thorn of the year? No, what's your regret? Because honestly, this whole show was a regret. This season was a regret.
Season.
Everybody just talk about your regrets. They have regrets from last season. Emily, immediately, I can't think of anything. Fuck off. You should have so many regrets, honestly.
Take a pick.
Maybe you know what? Biggest regret for Emily, probably your fashion this year, your wardrobe.
Hey,
right, you suck. So you go into that with, it's not even an apology. I'm not even going to call it, like you said.
No, it's not.
Apology. It's nothing. It's nothing at all. Because how do you rephrase that?
You
are mad at her because she told other people that her daughter said that Heather was mean to you? What? How are you going to rephrase that?
Oh, my kids talk shit about Heather. Well, you lost custody of your kids when you were homeless. Remember that? What?
Oh my God, dude.
It's so dumb, bro. And like, I don't know where you go. They're bringing Vicky back. That doesn't mean shit to me. Like, that's not.
It means a lot to me, but
that's fine. I don't think it does shit to this cast. I don't think it does shit to this show. I think this is so far gone, and it's come down to this has Alex Baskin and his stink and what he does to shows all fucking over it. This is like the creme de la creme of Alex Baskin shit piles. This is what happens when you give him complete control of a show. He inserts himself with a fucking voice changer. He burns the show to the ground for his favorites. He tries to manipulate it to make his favorites on top. And we watched that happen this reunion. You can literally see it happening with the attempt at a weird Tamra takedown out of nowhere when Gretchen was in the line of fire, and somehow it 180s onto Tamra. That doesn't make any sense. The ladies all co-signing it does not make any sense. This whole entire reunion episode did not track logically. Because if that's the defense that we're hearing, and anybody at home is going, that makes sense. I too have liked transphobic posts by accident multiple
I thought it
times.
was a
And follow
joke. I thought it
200
said
accounts.
something else. Yeah. Oh, that
200.
was my favorite part. I followed like 4,200 accounts. That was just a small percentage. One, you're a fucking psycho if you're following 4,200 accounts.
I agree.
Two, you only did that to inflate the numbers so that the 200 accounts,
200.
this is very good research by Tamra. Again, just completely flies under the radar because these women are idiots and they're not paying attention, or they have an axe to grind against Tamra. The fact that she saw that, and she, I'm sure, has people working up for her to make sure, like, hey, screenshot Gretchen's profile every single day and see if she still follows these main profiles. So I've got these flagged. Here's all the bigots. Here's all the weird right-wing rhetoric. We're going to go ahead and flag those. If she's still following them tomorrow, let me know. If she's not, let me know how much the number goes down. That's good fucking research. That's a good way to do it. That's the way to do your homework. It doesn't get acknowledged at all. No one's giving Tamra any kudos. Who knew you could come to Brav Bros, and we're going to go ahead and give Tamra all the goddamn kudos? Because I don't understand how no one can see it from her perspective, that she's just a bigot. Leave me alone for now. Come after me next season if you want to talk to me about potentially talking to bloggers. I don't care. I'll align myself with Katie. That's a good way to do it. Maybe we can have a little bit of fun with this one. No, right now we need to go after Gretchen. Oh, no, we're going after me for what? Why? You think that was me talking? No. Okay. Yeah, great. Awesome. It just makes no fucking sense, man. And they need sweeping changes. I know we tend to do that for a lot of these shows that have bad seasons, but this is definite. This is different. And I'm still holding on so much hope to the report from BravoCon that Vicky coming back is just the start and there's going to be sweeping changes. I'm okay with a Vicky, Tamra, Shannon, Jen, Katie. Give Katie a chance to see if she's actually a good housewife. We still have no fucking idea. Throw Heather in there, and then Gina. And get rid of Emily, get rid of Gretchen, and then bring back Vicky and see what you have. That's my only shot right now.
Sure. Why not at this juncture? Like, if you're going to run it back, which you seemingly are because you already announced Vicky, I don't know. I don't really care. I think that this is a travesty of what Housewives is supposed to be. Like, this is not what we signed up for. It was so disappointing. I'm disappointed. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. Let's get to some questions because there's nothing to recap in this whole fucking thing.
First one up here from Brinson Micah. Do we see a path forward for Katie on this show? Jen seems done with her. I don't think it matters if Jen is done with her. If she's still in the good graces of, and we've seen that she's in the good graces of Vicky and Tamra, she'll be fine. I'm okay because I don't really care if Jen likes somebody or not.
Agreed. Koya baby, did they just make us all team Tamra? And Andy, what the fuck was that? Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Claire Archibald, I like this one. Do you think that the cast agrees with how bad ROC is, or are they delusional? They're delusional. They really do think that they're making a good product, and that's the problem. This is funny. From Janice Ingram 360, where is Emily in this photo? I don't know if you saw the photo that I used, but I intentionally cropped out Emily and Gretchen. Awesome. Where is Emily in this photo? Did you crop her out? Steal?
Shooter does the questions.
Newbie here. Read the question, please. Good job. Yeah, no, I do the question. So if you see something shady up there, it's probably me. Although
it's Shooter.
Because a lot of times I'll use a shady picture, and then all of the questions are about the picture and not.
That's also a good point. Yeah, Sarah Polardi. It's infuriating. The women are more upset about Katie talking to bloggers than Gretchen's homophobia. Couldn't agree more. B-Man Graham 0727. The only realization from this reunion is that Alex Baskin can destroy a good thing. Fucking right, he can.
Absolutely can. Out of office mama. Why was Heather so defensive when Tamra brought up Gretchen's political views? Even in the cake party flashback, Heather did not want Tamra to bring it up. That is exactly what I saw. Tamra was going down that path the way that Tamra does, setting things up for the cameras, trying to give us a good product, trying to get you to talk about something else. Heather has this self-image that she wants to make sure that she maintains on this show. And if it crosses over a line somewhere in there, she just immediately shuts down. And that's what she was doing. Tamra couldn't even get the question out. She knew where she was going, and Heather was just looking at her like, nope, 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 we're not doing that. So I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, agreed. From Gwen AU95, disappointed in Katie not really speaking or defending, question mark, thought she'd come in hot. I don't know how she would have been able to land any substantial blows during that whole thing. Like the fact that she even got a word in without them jumping down her throat was surprising to me. I don't know if it would have served her to go in and just guns blazing. I don't think it would have landed very well, personally.
Robert Taylor, writer of stuff, I am so proud of you boys for doing what many of us could not.
Thanks,
it's
Robbie.
over with. We're actually done now, which is fantastic.
We are done now.
And look,
We are.
if there's, I'm going to say this now, I probably won't hold to it, but if there's OC news and it's not good news that we like, we will not report it because I'm not even going to talk about it.
Agreed. Lollygagger926. Why do you think everyone seemed to take it easy on Gretchen, including Andy? I don't know, except that Alex Baskin wants that to happen for whatever fucking reason. This is a problem at the very top.
All right, this is the last one here from James Colleen. I feel like the very end still makes Tamra guilty. What am I missing? Here's what you're missing. Tamra, when she left the first time, there were rumors that she was talking to bloggers and spilling details about the show during the season. It was never really confirmed, but a lot of people just saw their opportunity to jump at it. I don't really care either way. It doesn't really matter to me. But that was her pleading to Andy, like, fuck, like, I really didn't do this, guys. Like, don't treat me the same way that you did last time, because I wouldn't do that again. I think she's doing different things in certain ways, of course, and she uses the shield of, I've got a podcast and I work with iHeartRadio. Fine, that's great. But I don't think that she did any of this. Like, that's what it was. And she was just getting frustrated. I mean, we were frustrated through the TV. I can only imagine that if I was the target of that situation, that attack, that gang up, then yeah, I would be beyond frustrated. And if it had to fall in line with what I was accused of doing a couple of years ago that got me off the screen, then yeah, of course I'm going to appeal to Andy right away. So I don't think anything of that. I think it actually makes her look innocent at that point.
Yeah, and I think that adding to that frustration is looking across the room at the homophobe,
yeah,
who's got crocodile tears and everyone's patting her on the back. I think I would lose my shit too. So no, I don't think I really, for the first time ever, believe Tamra.
Yeah,
you know, that's where the show has gotten to. It's I'm just disgusted. What a bad show.
Yeah, me too.
What a bad episode. But guess what? We don't have to watch it again for a very long time. And that is very, very exciting. So without further ado, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. All good here.
Well, fuck this show. Bro's got to go.